It's story time. Yes, in this video I'm going to share a business metaphor with you. Now, just so we're absolutely clear, the thing I'm going to be talking about is not really the thing I'm talking about. So the game of this video is to figure out what I might really be talking about and what some of the lessons might be from that business metaphor. And for those of you who are remotely stressed by the idea of not working it out, I will explain it as we go along. My name's Graham David, and this video is to help you if you want to be a better conference speaker, a better presenter, or indeed if you work with other people who need to speak, deliver meetings, briefings, and so on. So here's the story. Imagine in your family, every time you get together for a meal, you have an Aunt Sylvia. And Aunt Sylvia makes this particular chili sauce. And in your family it's got a name, Saucy Sylvia's sauce. Catchy, right? And Saucy Sylvia's is the must go-to sauce for every meal. And it comes in a little jar because that's how Sylvia makes it. And you need to get a spoon because it's quite thick. It doesn't have all the unnatural colours that most sauces have, which, although that's a good thing, it does have a sort of slightly murky colour to it, but that's okay. It tastes great. It's got an incredible wow smell the moment you open this jar, and it's got a real kick, this chili sauce. So one barbecue, after a few beers or a few wines or a few soft drinks, whatever it is you do, somebody goes, you know what? We should market Saucy Sylvia's. We should get it out there and let other people taste how good this is. You go, this is true, we should do this. So over the next few weeks and months, you start to put your plan into operation. And as well as figuring out how you're going to make it, how you're going to cost it, what the marketing is going to be, you start to think about this little jar of sauce itself. And you start to get advice from friends, family, colleagues. And the advice comes thick and fast from everyone. Everybody's got a view. So for a start, that jar's a bit unusual. Most people these days like the squeezy bottles they can use to put it straight on their food. So you decide you need to get a bottle. And then somebody points out, of course, that most of the sauce bottles in the supermarket are really big. So this actually makes the Sylvia's one quite expensive because it's just a little jar. So you're going to need to make a lot more of it per purchase. And then there's that colour. And although the colour's a bit of a joke in your family, you're aware that probably the wider market's going to be a bit uncertain about it. And the smell, of course, the smell will put some people off. And if it puts them off, then they won't try it. So you need to find a way to neutralise that. And actually, while you're thinking about it, the chili itself is such a hit. I mean, it's really hot. You know that that's going to put a few people off. I mean, again, in your family, it's all a bit of a joke. You've got to go through Saucy Sylvia's sauce every meal. It's quite a nice thing, brings everyone together. But perhaps customers that don't know you, that's not going to work. And then one day somebody says, well, what about the name itself? Well, you thought this was one thing you've got to stick with, Saucy Sylvia's sauce. It's a great name. It alliterates. You've got this 3 SSS logo. And then say, well, yeah, but Saucy Sylvia's, maybe somebody will be offended by that. And you see what they mean. That's the last thing I want to do. I don't want to offend anybody. So you change it to Sylvia's chili sauce. And then you think, I don't know, maybe that's not clear. You work on this. And chili sauce by Sylvia. And then you perhaps think you ought to put Sylvia's second name and a little photo of Sylvia. And one day you look at your new sauce that's ready to roll out. And you realise that what you've got is pretty much exactly the same as everybody else's on the shelf. And on the one side, you're quite pleased because it feels professional. It feels like it fits into the market. But then you realise that you've not got a lot of chance of your sauce standing out because the big brand names, which I'm not going to mention, well, they've got way more shelf space than you. And they can thrash you on price because they make presumably thousands of tons of sauce and you've just got this very small operation. And when you've driven the price down, you've maximised the amount that goes in this bottle, and when you're then competing for shelf space, you realise that actually you don't really have anything special anymore. Even the name itself now, and the brand and the logo and the labelling, everything just blends in with everybody else. And this is the problem that many of us have when we come to think about our presentation style. So quite often we think, oh, I've got this great idea. I want to start with a joke. I want to start with something slightly unusual to grab people's attention. And then somebody at your organisation will say, well, are you sure that's appropriate? Is that a good idea? Nobody else is doing that. Maybe you've watched some of my videos and you thought, perhaps I could be a bit more storytelling, perhaps I could try and engage with the audience more. And then you look at what everybody else in that conference slot is doing and you think, I don't know, they don't do it. They just talk quite professionally. They stand at the lectern and they deliver their notes. And in fact, I was thinking about not doing PowerPoint, but everyone else is doing PowerPoint. And everybody in my organisation expects PowerPoint when I speak, so maybe I should do PowerPoint. I've delivered videos where I've said don't ask questions at the end. But if everybody else asks questions, perhaps I should. You see, here's the problem. None of us want to cause offence. I definitely don't want to offend anybody. I absolutely don't want to be thought of as a bit rude or inappropriate when I'm speaking. But I've had to accept that there's always going to be somebody who takes offence. There's always going to be somebody who doesn't quite like the approach that I've taken. I've also got to accept that if you do try and fit in with what everybody else does, you're not going to get noticed. You're not going to be remembered. And that's the problem, because if you're stood at the front of the room and you're the only one facing that way and everyone else is facing this way and you're microphoned up and there's a light on you and slides behind you and your name's just been announced, you're going to be noticed. So if you're going to be noticed, you may as well be noticed. And whilst I'm not talking about going out of the way to offend people, whilst I'm absolutely, totally being sensible and aware of the fact that politically sometimes we need to fit in with the structure or the organisation that is prescribed, if we're going to stand out, if we're going to do the best we can for us and for our message and for what we want to sell and portray and put forward, we sometimes need to accept that Saucy Sylvia's sauce needs to be a little bit unique. It's going to have to stand out. It's going to have to look a little bit different. And that means, by definition, some people won't like it. Some people will find it a bit flippant or a bit inappropriate or, frankly, a bit too chilli saucy. And we have to understand that that's going to be okay. Because the reality is, if you try and fit in with absolutely everybody else, your sauce is going to just disappear on that shelf with everybody else's and will be as memorable as everybody else's. So, hope you enjoyed that video. I'm pretty sure you got what we're really talking about because I explained it all towards the end. Look forward to reading your comments and do please message me, especially if you are or you know Saucy Sylvia. Talk to you soon. Thank you.